Right, good morning everyone, and it is Thursday, February 5th, 9 a.m., conference room 325. We are here with the Committee on Energy and Environmental Protection, and first up on the agenda we have a bunch of bills about cesspools today. And first up to testify on House Bill 2245 relating to the environment. And this is the bill about requiring additional denitrification capacity in wastewater systems close to the shoreline. And first up, we have Department of Health.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair. John Nagato, Department of Health Wastewater Branch. The department stands on its written testimony providing comments and are available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Aloha, good morning, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Peruso, Charlie Taylor on behalf of DLNR's Division of Aquatic Resources. We stand on our written testimony in support of this bill and are available for any questions. Mahalo.
Thanks. And then Hawaii County Council Member Kimball in support. Friends of Hanauma Bay in support. By in person.
Good morning, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Peruso.
Can you please speak up?
Good morning, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Peruso. My name is Jessica Paisley, here on behalf of VI, and we stand on our written testimony to be available for questions.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Pu'uko for Reefs in support. Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition.
Thank you, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Peruso, Ted Boland for the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition in strong support of this bill. The reason this bill is needed is that individual wastewater systems, which include cesspools, release nitrogen into the groundwater, and that can harm our reefs. So the conventional septic systems that are being put in a lot of places don't do enough to protect the reefs, particularly in West Hawaii where there's good coral, which is very much in jeopardy if we add a lot of septic systems. Ideally, you would have sewering where that's feasible, we should do that, but where we don't, we need a individual wastewater system that is not nitrogen releasing. So there are technologies. This would require that any new septic systems meet standards for denitrification. And there are some issues raised by the Department of Health, I think, in their testimony. We don't object to the amendment that they've got. The questions we have about GIS mapping, et cetera, are things that can be worked out. I would urge the committee to move the bill forward and we can work out those details with DOH in subsequent hearings. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. I'm available for questions.
Thank you. And then Nature Conservancy.
Good morning, Chair Lowen, Chair Peruso. Thank you for having us today. Nature Conservancy submitted testimony. I'm Dr. Kim Felinsky. I work for Nature Conservancy and also hold status at UH Manoa and the Water Resources and Research Center. I wanted to just clarify 2 points. It's hard to understate that we do have a lot of nitrogen coming from cesspools hitting the coastline. I study the data across the state and know that that is true. So that part we can really stand on. We can also stand on the fact that the nitrogen from those, that when it hits those reefs, will make those reefs less able to recover from bleaching events. So that's why this is important. When it comes to the technology, the word denitrification is such a big kind of complicated word, but it basically means trying to convert that nitrogen into nitrogen gas so that it isn't harmful. But I want to make sure that you realize that those extra technologies would also add ability to take out pharmaceuticals, organic matter, phosphorus. It's not just nitrogen that would be removed in those extra technology layers. I appreciate the comments of the Department of Health with the GIS layers, as my colleague said here, and I hope we can work out a solution that would allow us to prioritize. If we are to prioritize one thing, it's cesspools next to the shoreline in hard rock soils like the Big Island that are next to reefs. Like that is our priority and we'd really like to see that particular issue improved. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Surfrider Foundation Hawaii in support. And we have 3 additional individuals in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? Please come forward.
Aloha Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Peruso. My name is Hannah Lisiak and I'm testifying on behalf of the Hawaii Ocean Legislative Task Force in support of this measure. I just wanted to echo the sentiments of Ted Bolin, one of our fellow task force members. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, members' questions? Okay, all right, no questions from me. We will move on to House Bill 1985 relating to cesspool conversions. And this establishes the authority of Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority to provide cesspool conversion loans to eligible homeowners. First up to testify, we have Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Gwen Yamamura, Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority stands on its written testimony with comments in support. I just also wanted to mention two things. One is maybe consider making this a revolving loan fund so that loan repayments can be relent and reused and recycled. And secondly, I appreciate the comments from the procurement office, but as an existing loan we have other existing loan programs going on, and that their comments could be problematic. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up, we have Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, Charlie Taylor on behalf of DLNR's Division of Aquatic Resources. We stand on our written testimony providing comments and are available for any additional questions. Our main comments though basically are that we generally do not really want to extend deadlines, but we do support any types of outreach and education for homeowners in the bill. Thank you.
Thanks. I think you might be referring to the next bill.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1985.
But we are currently on 1618. It's okay.
We stand on our written testimony in support.
Thank you. And next we have State Procurement Office. Not present. Public Utilities Commission.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Ashley Norman, Public Utilities Commission. We stand on our written testimony and support and available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Department of Health.
Morning Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, John Nagato, Department of Health Wastewater Branch. The department stands on its written testimony and support. Will be available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And University of Hawaii. Darren Lerner, Water Resources in support. Hawaii Realtors
Thank you. We stand on our testimony and support.
in support. Friends of Haunama Bay in support. Have Public Access to Sunscreens in support. Ocean Legislative Task Force.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, and member of the committee. Thank you again. My name is Hannah Lisiak here on behalf of the Ocean Legislative Task Force in strong support of this measure. One of the biggest priorities for our task force this year and in previous years has been cesspool conversion and wastewater management. And I think this bill would really help solve the affordability issue that comes for eligible homeowners for cesspool conversion. Our task force represents more than 150 individuals across 20 different organizations, and we want to thank you for hearing this measure. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
And then we have Vi.
We also stand on our written testimony to be available for questions, and mahalo for hearing this measure.
Thank you. And Climate Change and Health Working Group. And Nature Conservancy.
Hello, we stand on our written testimony. Thank you.
Thanks. Puoko for Reefs in support, and then we have 5 additional individuals in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? Oh, sorry, how did I miss to have you here?
In the chaos. Thank you. Ted Boland on behalf of Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition. Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Committee Member. This bill is important because many homeowners cannot afford, cannot qualify for loans which they would need to pay for the conversion of their cesspools. We need a dedicated revolver with low interest financing for low and moderate income customers, which this bill would provide. So this bill eliminates barriers. It helps homeowners upgrade without undue financial strain, and it puts the management of this in the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority, which has expertise not only with clean energy but also infrastructure financing. So I think it's a really good bill. I urge the committee to pass it. Available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, was there anyone else that I missed who's here to testify on this measure? If not, members' questions? I have some for Gwen for HDIA. Just to address the concerns raised in the testimony from the State Procurement Office, can you just explain why you would say not to adopt those amendments?
Yes, so we already have an existing loan program and we have our servicers and our application portals. And so if we went through an RFP process and say there's another servicer that is selected, it would be problematic and confusing and also not cost effective to have to start up another servicer to do a new loan program when it's a lot more efficient to just add another program to existing tasks, infrastructure.
Okay, and then do you have a sense of how much funding might be appropriate? Like how quickly you think you'd be able to move it out and what kind of ask there would be for this?
Yeah, so it depends on the source of funding. So if it's a one-time funding, then of course there's a lot of cesspools and needs. But if it's an ongoing source of funding, then off the top I would say $1 million a year to start because adoption has been slow. But if we can get the tools out for our homeowners to then convert, then to start maybe $1 million a year, and then we'll see how the demand goes.
And we had the thought about maybe making or giving the ability for some of these loans to be forgivable for based on income. Do you guys have the ability to do that? How much more complicated is that as sort of a financing?
So it's something that we could put into the design of the loan program. So not difficult, just a different way of and different criteria that we would have and just put it into the design.
And are there instances where you have a loan program and you would make it forgivable like up to a certain amount, for example? So this would be kind of a way to address the very low income.
So we don't have any of that existing, but there are those types of loans that do exist. So it's not new, it's just something that we would again put into the design of the program.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. All right, members, any other questions? All right, seeing none, we will move on to House Bill 1985. This is the bill that gives Department of Health a little more ability to grant extensions to the cesspool conversion deadline and also adds a section for outreach and education and creating a website to house all the information about cesspools and programs available. So first up to testify, we have Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, the department's Charlie Taylor on behalf of DLNR's Division of Aquatic Resources. We stand on our written comments, providing comments on our written testimony, providing comments. Just again noting that we don't support extension of the deadlines, but do support the education and outreach initiatives. Mahalo.
Thank you. And then Department of Health.
Morning Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, John Nagato, Department of Health Wastewater Branch. The department stands on its written testimony providing comments and will be available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we have Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
We stand on our written testimony in support and our
Thank you. Hawaii Realtors.
Thank you, Chair. We stand in our testimony in support.
Thank you. Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Member. Ted Boland for the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition. This bill is also important. Outreach is important. If we're going to ask people to upgrade their wastewater systems, individual wastewater systems, they need information. they need education. And in other places where there have been similar programs like Suffolk County, New York, outreach was critical. So I think this bill, the outreach part of this bill is really important. I do have some concerns about the extension that's in the first part of the bill. I would have some amendments to that if the chair pleases. But I think if you're going to extend and give people an extension due to financial inability to pay, that's a whole complicated issue. And I think we should go down that path very carefully. I don't really support it at this point, but details would need to be worked out. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. I'm available for questions.
Thank you. And then we have an additional individual that submitted testimony. Was there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, any questions? All right, we will move on. Next bill on the agenda. House Bill 2079. And this reestablishes the cesspool upgrade, conversion, or connection income tax credit. And first up to testify, we have Hawaii Department of Taxation.
Morning, Clinton Piper, Department of Taxation. We'll stand on our written comments available for questions.
Thank you. And then we'll go to Department of Health.
Department of Health stands on its written testimony and support.
Thanks. Department of Land and Natural Resources.
DLNR stands on its written testimony and support.
Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
We stand on our written testimony and support.
Thank you. University of Hawaii. In support. City and County of Honolulu, Department of Environmental Services, Roger Babcock on Zoom. Not present, offering comments. County of Hawaii Mayor's Office in support.
Chung, on behalf of Mayor Kimo Almeida, will stand on our written testimony and support.
Thank you. County of Kauai, Mayor Kawakami in support. City and County of Honolulu, Office of Climate Change, Sustainability and Resilience in support. Hawaii Realtors
Thank you, Chair. We stand on our testimony and support.
in support. Nature Conservancy. And
We're here for answer questions. We stand in our testimony.
thank you. Tax Foundation of Hawaii, Tom Yamachika on Zoom, not present. And we have additional one individual or two individuals in support on this. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? Let's come forward.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Member. Ted Boland for Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition. The Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition supports measures that will help owners be able to afford cesspool upgrades. And if this tax credits have complications, I think, but if we can work out the details, it's one way in which additional support can be granted. I'd rather see grants, I'd rather see direct help, but tax credits may help for some people. And in that sense, I would support the bill. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, any questions? I guess DOTAX. Just to clarify, because we've had people saying that grants are preferable to tax credits, but I would just get curious of your opinion. I mean, if we have a refundable tax credit, compare that to a grant that essentially functions as a rebate, because we don't hand out money in advance of the work being done, even with the grants that were created under Department of Health. I mean, it's essentially a similar idea.
Sorry, Clinton Piper.
Yes.
I know there are policy concerns as far as why you would prefer one or the other, which is a little bit beyond DOTAX's expertise. We're more on the administration side. I mean, generally speaking, if you are gonna do a rebate, you do have to have additional oversight and structure in order to do that rebate program. How that affects the behavior of the consumer, whether it drives more or not, it's something beyond my expertise, so I won't be able to directly
But
answer
just to
it.
clarify, a refundable tax credit means
Oh, I'm
that
sorry, I
no matter
misunderstood.
no matter somebody's level of income, if a tax credit is refundable or refundable below a certain threshold of adjusted gross income, then someone gets the full amount paid out in the first year.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. So our general concern with a refundable tax credit is that it will encourage folks who, when you have a refundable tax credit, you have individuals who might not have sufficient tax liability but will claim the credit, and then if it was done improperly, we have to go and catch after the fact. There's just whenever there's a handing out of cash, there's an incentive on some dishonest folks, not most taxpayers, but a small percentage, to take advantage of it. So by doing it as a non-refundable credit, it's simply reducing a debt that's owed, which doesn't have the same dishonesty drivers. And again, I'm not trying to imply that this is the majority of taxpayers. It's that small majority who would take advantage of the system that we're concerned
So would you have, if we did a refundable tax, but to like just because I think other people in the room have had questions about it, if a tax credit is refundable, fully refundable, that means whoever's claiming it can get paid that full, even if they don't have tax liability to offset it, they get
Correct.
paid back the full amount in the first year.
So you might have individuals who, for example, don't have income within the state, for whatever reason, either they're not working in the state or something along those lines, they claim the credit. The credit is basically a check is written to the individual.
Okay, but we're talking about instances that you don't wanna see, but just as a general tool for most cases, somebody is in the state, they get the work done, they claim the tax credit, but they don't owe, they're not very wealthy and they don't owe a lot of taxes, they get paid back, they get full amount, okay. Would you recommend if we did go that route, would there be, because there are concerns about fraud, would you want language in the bill that had like Department of Health reviewing the qualified expenses or something
I
to that
believe
effect?
there's language in the bill to that effect already.
Okay.
So that would be a bulwark against that type of thing. I mean, of course, nothing is perfect, but this is a way that we can have eyes on as to whether or not what's being claimed was actually done.
Okay, thank you. I have some questions, there's not that many people here, maybe Department of Health? I was really curious, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, about I mean, of course, it would be only for qualified expenses, but from my understanding, typically when an individual connects to a sewer as opposed to converting their cesspool to an individual wastewater system, that's usually the cheapest option for the homeowner. They have to pay the cost of the lateral on private property, but that's typically less than converting from a cesspool to a septic.
I'm not 100% sure of the cost. I think it just depends where you're doing it and which county you're working in. And then the engineering costs can sometimes be higher. From my experience talking to firms that work on sewer connection designs, it's a simple idea and concept, but I've heard the engineering costs are more than when they're just doing an individual wastewater system design.
Why, do you know why that is?
I don't think a lot of the civil engineers that do individual wastewater system design do a sewer connection because it's a whole different type of engineering they gotta work with. The county, just drawing the connections. That's from my talking with different firms. The ones that do the connections don't usually dabble in IWSs and vice versa. But that was from years ago. Now, so I gotta consider the engineering costs and then the construction costs and then going into the right of way. It's just a different thing, so I don't have.
Okay, alright, okay.
Sorry.
Thanks. Any other questions, members? Alright, if not, we'll move on to, what are we on? To House Bill 1921 relating to cesspools. So this allows that an existing cesspool in priority 3 can, DOH can allow them to add an additional bedroom. And first up to testify, we have Department of Health.
Chair, Vice Chair, Member of the Committee, John Nagato, Department of Health, Wastewater Branch. The department stands on its written testimony providing comments. Available for any questions. Thank you.
Hawaii Realtors.
Thank you, we stand on our testimony and support.
Grassroot Institute of Hawaii in support, Vi Home LLC with comments, and one individual in support and one in opposition. Was there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? All right, seeing none, we will move right along. House Bill 2232 relating to clean water. So this preserves as state law protections for water quality that are at least as protective as the Federal Clean Water Act. First up to testify, we have House Bill 223, or we have Department of Health.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. I'm Darrell Lung from the Department of Health Clean Water Branch. The department stands on our written testimony offering comments, and I'll be available to answer any questions.
Thank you. And then Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition.
We'll just stand on our testimony.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Too many bills, too confused. Stand on written testimony and support. State law needs to be upheld here, and I strongly urge the committee to pass this bill.
Thank you. And then we have additional 5 individuals in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. House Bill 1567 relating to energy equity. This requires the PUC to establish rate structures that prioritize affordability and equity. First up to testify, we have we have the Consumer Advocate.
Board Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, we stand on our written testimony, providing comments. Thank you.
Thank you. And Public Utilities Commission.
Good morning again, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Prusso, and member of the committee, Representative Kush. We stand on written testimony in support with comments and available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Kupuna for the Mo'opuna in support, KIUC on Zoom.
Good morning,
Go
Chair
ahead.
Lowen, Vice Chair Prusso, and member of the committee. My name is Scott Sato, and I'm the Government Affairs and Energy Services Manager at Kauai Island Utility Cooperative. KIUC stands on its written testimony in respectful opposition of this proposal. We kindly ask that the state legislature allow the PUC to conclude its work on the equity and disconnection dockets before legislation such as this is considered, as recommendations from that process may be valuable to this specific legislation. So thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony.
Thank you. And then we have Free Access Coalition in support and Sierra Club of Hawaii on Zoom.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Wayne Tanaka with the Circle of Hawaii. We'll stand on our written testimony in strong support of this measure and happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have additional 27 individuals in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? Nope. Okay. All right. We're moving fast. All right, we'll move on. House Bill 1984 relating to renewable energy. So this is requiring government entities to establish a self-certification process for installing essentially distributed energy resources. First up to testify, we have Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, Carol T. Albeen with DLNR Engineering Division. The department stands on our written testimony to offer comments, and I'll be here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. And then Hawaii Solar Energy Association.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair. Rocky Mold, Hawaii Solar Energy Association. I'll stand on my written testimony in strong support of this measure and just note that we made a major breakthrough working with DLNR on this bill to find a solution to the FEMA issue. It's been a longstanding issue for our industry. So just wanted to point that out and thank you. I'm here for questions if you have them.
Thank you. And then we have Alternate Energy Inc. in support. Photon Works Engineering in support. KIUC on Zoom.
Good morning again. KIUC stands on its written testimony in respectful opposition of this proposal and has noted a suggested amendment for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Climate Protectors Hawaii, Ted Bolin, supports.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Ted Boland for Climate Protectors Hawaii. First, I note that I had a typo in my testimony and I had the wrong number. This is 1984, not 1985. That sounds a little too prophetic, actually. This is a good bill. It would save customers money. It would improve the stability of the electricity grid and reduce the state's greenhouse gas emissions by streamlining solar permitting with a self-certification process. We ought to make it as easy as feasible for people to get on with their solar, and that would help the state in many ways. So I urge you to pass the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. And 350 Hawaii in support, Grassroots Institute of Hawaii in support. And then we have an additional 6 individuals in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? Please come forward.
Good morning, Chair Lowen and members of the committee. My name is Carrie Shahan. I'm the Executive Direct Officer for the Contractors License Board. I apologize, our testimony was not submitted. I thought it had been. The board has not had the opportunity to review this year's bill, but based on last year's discussions of a similar bill, the board appreciates the intent of this bill, but has concerns regarding commercial and large-scale photovoltaic systems being put in with self-certification, and believes that this is more suitable to residential with inspection following. I will provide a copy of my testimony at the end of the meeting, and I'm here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, any questions? Hawaii Solar Energy Association. I guess because it's new testimony or new that we're just hearing, do you wanna speak to any concerns about commercial scale installations?
So this legislation would call for self-certification by a design professional. It does not relinquish the need for an inspection at the end. All these projects would be inspected eventually, and if there were any issues, the design professional would be on the hook to fix those issues with it. So there's still compliance check at the end. This allows the project to proceed to build upon submission of a stamped plan, which is just a huge efficiency measure. And again, a compliance check with an inspection at the end.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, if not, any other questions, members? All right, seeing none, we will move on to House Bill 2608 relating to water heating systems. And first up to testify, we have Hawaii Department of Taxation.
Good morning, Clinton Piper, Department of Taxation. Will stand on the written comments available for questions.
Thank you. And then Inter-Island Solar Supply Solar Array Corporation with comments. Hawaii Gas.
Hi. Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. I'm Julie Yanker with Hawaii Gas in strong opposition of removing demand gas water heaters from the current variance process. The current law states that solar water heaters are required for new single-family residential construction. No building permits are issued that do not include a solar water heater unless the Chief Energy Officer approves the variance. Variance applications are only accepted if submitted by an architect or licensed mechanical engineer who attests that the installation is impractical and cost prohibitive. Variances are arduous to obtain and are only granted when other options have been evaluated and determined to be infeasible. The largest share of the variances for demand water heaters are rural subdivisions, off-grid or weak grid areas, widespread propane use, which is the majority of the neighbor islands, and a high prevalence of multiple gas appliances in the home already. In analyzing the variance data, Hawaii Island received 60% of the demand water heater variances, and Kauai and Maui follow. Eliminating demand water heaters would disproportionately impact rural and neighboring island homes and forces homeowners into hot water systems that are impractical or not affordable. Additionally, the Energy Policy and Conservation Act prohibits state and local governments from restricting the use of federally regulated appliances. Prohibiting gas water heaters would be in violation of federal law. For these reasons, Hawaii Gas respectfully urges the committee to retain the existing variance for gas water heaters in HB 2608 by removing the deletion in A4. This will not change the main intent of the bill, which is to add in electric heat pumps. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Let's see, Hawaiian Council.
Hawaiian Council, standing in strong support on a written testimony.
Thank you. Stanford Carr in opposition. Castle and Cook Homes in opposition. BIA Hawaii in opposition. Kapolei Chamber of Commerce in opposition. And then we have testimony from 6 additional individuals in support and 56 in opposition. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? Going once, going twice, no questions. Okay, we'll move on. Next on the agenda, we have House Bill 2435 relating to portable plug-in solar generation devices. First up to testify, we have Climate Mitigation and Adaptation Commission.
Hello, Chair Lund, Vice Chair Brusso, Leah Laramie with the Hawaii State Climate Change Commission. We stand on our testimony and support available for questions. Mahalo.
Thank you. DCCA, Mike Angelo.
Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, stand on our testimony, provide comments. Thank you for the questions.
Hawaii State Energy Office in comments.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, Monique Sanfis. We stand for the Hawaii State Energy Office. We stand on our written testimony, providing comments. Thank you.
Public Utilities Commission.
Aloha, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Caruso, and members of the House Committee on Energy and Environmental Protection. My name is Andrew Kabe. I'm a utility analyst of the Public Utility Commission. I'm here on behalf of Chair Itamura and the Commission. I stand on the Commission's written testimony offering comment and supporting the intent of HB 2435 and available for any questions the committee may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Clean the Pacific in support. Hawaii Climate Action Coalition in support. Hawaii Solar Energy Association in support. KIUC on Zoom.
Good morning again. KIUC stands on its written testimony, providing comments on this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we have Climate Protectors Hawaii.
Thank you, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Caruso, members. Hawaii Climate Protectors Hawaii supports this bill. We need more distributed solar power that will help the grid, that'll help the individuals save money. It's good for the environment. Many residents and renters of condominiums and multifamily housing are prevented from accessing less expensive solar power by ownership restrictions, structural limits, etc. We want to pass this bill and see if we can get more portable plug-in devices available by eliminating some of those barriers. So I support this bill, urge you to pass it. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. And Chamber of Sustainable Commerce in support. 350 Hawaii in support on Zoom. Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Sherry Pollock, and I'm with 350 Hawaii. We stand in strong support of this measure that would remove unnecessary barriers and allow plug-in solar systems in Hawaii. Our members are very anxious to see this implemented. Hawaii has the highest electricity costs in the nation, and costs are rising. These systems are game-changing. This is about cutting energy costs and reducing emissions by updating our rules to match the realities of new, safe, proven technologies. We want to ensure unnecessary barriers are avoided so everyone who could greatly benefit from them has access to installing them. For too long, the benefits of solar energy have been limited to homeowners with the capital to invest in rooftop projects. Plug-in solar reinvents this narrative, making cheap, clean energy a viable option for everyone, something critical to alleviate our high electricity rates. 4 million households in Germany already have plug-in solar systems. Utah unanimously passed a bill last year approving them. These systems are safe, low cost, and they work for renters, apartments, and homes unsuitable for roofs. So many could benefit from plug-in solar, but outdated regulations are preventing this. We strongly urge the committee to pass this measure and encourage the committee to keep language in the measure free of unnecessary barriers so that we can maximize access to affordable renewable energy, making it easy for everyone to participate. Our written testimony provides more details on this. We want to thank you for the opportunity to testify on this really wonderful measure. Mahalo.
Thank you. Let's see, next up we have Greenpeace Hawaii in support on Zoom.
Good morning. Thank you so much for hearing this proposal and for putting it forward. This is essential. We have to get off of fossil fuels. We are in it's getting pretty desperate here. The climate crisis is getting worse, as the legislature has just noted in 2021. We are already in a climate emergency. We have houses falling into the ocean on the North Shore. Our shorelines are receding. We had this huge, horrible, obliterated fire that wiped out Lahaina, and this is just the beginning. So we really have to start working diligently to get off of fossil fuels, and this is a really wonderful way to start. It's very simple. It's safe, clean, and efficient. As was just reported, these have been used for many, many years safely in Europe. So this is safe. It's much safer than LNG. They just had a huge explosion in Louisiana from LNG. And so this is a much safer way to go to bring clean energy to Hawaii. Thank you so much for your ongoing efforts. I appreciate the chair and the co-chair and this committee. You guys have really been working hard to get us clean energy and get us off of fossil fuels. We appreciate your efforts so much. You have a very good day. Aloha.
Thank you. Next up we have Bright Saver on Zoom. Anna Ellis. Please proceed.
Yes, good morning. Yes, good morning, Chair Lowen, members of the committee. My name is Hannah Ellis, representing Bright Saver, a nonprofit dedicated to building the plug-in solar movement in the U.S., making solar ownership affordable and accessible to everyone. We stand in our written testimony and strongly support HB 2435 to allow the people of Hawaii to access plug-in solar, saving money by reducing their electricity bills. This is a market-driven solution requiring no tax credits or public funds. It's just cutting red tape. Systems installed according to the safety standards in the bill will not shock users, overload circuits, or create fire hazards. Backfeed during power outage, which protects line workers and anyone working on a multi-unit building. This is an equity issue. Plug-in solar provides meaningful access for renters and apartment residents who otherwise could not access solar. This technology ensures that access to clean energy is not limited by housing status. In addition, plug-in solar reduces electricity bills and improves energy resilience. This is especially relevant given residents of Hawaii have the highest energy costs in the country. For these reasons, I urge the committee to issue a favorable report on HB 2435 and support legislation that extends access to affordable, scalable, clean energy solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Carbon Cashback Hawaii in support. We have 32 additional individuals all in support. Some it looks like might be present. Oh, we have Life of the Land. Oh, sorry, wrong.
Well, I'll add anyway, and then submit written comments. Henry Curtis, Life of the Land. Hawaii has the highest electric rates. Nobody pays electric rates. They pay bills. When one considers all sources of energy that is sold to residences across the country, Hawaii's average cost is about average compared to the national average. That's because we use a lot of electricity here, and 1 out of 4 customers gets gas, but 3 out of 4 customers get gas on the mainland, and 10% of mainland customers get 3 or more utility bills. So when you consider the total energy bill of a residence, ours are no higher than anybody else's. Mahalo.
Thank you. All right, we had a couple people signed up for Zoom. I think our one person, Douglas Hagan, on Zoom, not present. Okay, was there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, questions, members? Okay, I guess really quickly for, excuse me, Bright Saver on Zoom. I'm just curious because I'm still learning about these myself. Like typically how large are these systems? I mean, really, realistically, how many kilowatts is it?
Yeah, it's a 1200 kilowatt max, and in terms of size, we're talking about 4 feet or so, and it depends on the
4 feet, like 4
system.
feet wide, 4 feet
Yeah.
by 4 feet by what?
4 feet by 4 feet. It depends on the system that one orders, but approximately that currently.
So, I mean, how much of a average electricity bill does it offset?
It's a really hard question to answer, depending on how much people are using and how much the sun is out. So it's almost impossible to answer in that way.
Okay, I guess Hawaii Solar Energy Association, do you know much about, I'm just curious, like, I'm for all of the above, right? Like, let's have this balcony solar or whatever, plug-in solar, but I'm curious like how big the impact really is or if it's relatively small.
So I think it makes a really big impact for renters, people in condos, people that are in buildings that have limited roof space. It makes a really big impact. Like if you think about it, a panel is about 400 watts each. So we're talking about like a max of 3 of those panels per place, up to 1200 watts.
I mean, you'd have to have a pretty big
So you'd have
apartment
to-
or lanai to have 3 panels.
You would, so you can scale it up to any size, and literally like one panel will defray a lot of cost for a typical bill here in Hawaii. I mean, a typical bill here in Hawaii is what about, they use about 500 to 700 kWh a month, somewhere around those. And this could probably defray, I mean, don't quote me on these numbers, but like it could take a pretty significant chunk out of that bill. For the average, apartment dweller or renter, like a third of that bill type of thing. So it's pretty big. It's a big impact.
And then how does it work, like the plug-in aspect of it? I mean, what are the regulatory concerns?
It's like an appliance. It's UL certified. It's like plugging in an appliance into your home. There are some issues with installation of it and how to do that, and you need to take into account some of those things to make sure that they're installed properly. But in terms of the electrical aspects of it, it's like a plug-in appliance.
So it's something that can function independently of any connection to the grid?
Yes.
Okay, so where does the PUC get involved?
I think that there are some proposals out there that call for registering these systems with the Public Utilities Commission and keeping track of them. I think we would support something like that, to keep an eye on it and to allow the Public Utilities Commission to like understand what's out there and what impacts it might have. Because it will have some impacts by lowering people's bills. We're lowering, it's an energy efficiency measure, right?
And do these systems have an opportunity to be grid tied and participate in some kind of demand response? Or?
I do believe there are some programs where they could be grid tied, but if it's grid tied, it would need to be regulated by the Public Utilities Commission, for sure.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yes, please.
Could you come back?
Oh, sure, oh yeah,
sorry. Thank you. Yeah, when this was kind of being discussed earlier, and I love the idea, but there's just some practical issues, and I just wanted to ask you questions related to technical aspects. So 1200 watts, isn't that just about like what a fridge would burn for a day?
I don't have the exact numbers on me.
I mean, just ballpark, isn't it like a kilowatt, what a refrigerator burns in 24, a modern energy efficient?
Yeah, something along those lines, yeah, it could be, yeah.
So would be the offset. And since solar is daytime, and for the average working person, you're not at home in your condo, wouldn't be offsetting like maybe very little air conditioning.
Eventually, energy storage appliances are coming. And I don't know, I forget if this is specifically about portable solar, but there are storage devices that act like portable solar devices that could act in conjunction with a portable solar device that's an appliance, so that you could actually extend the ability of that solar generation to actually store energy in the day and then use it in the evening. So
yeah, which is really cool.
There's powerful combinations that could be at play. Yeah.
And I just in that conversation that I had was like the cost efficiency. Like what do you think a unit like this would cost? Because you're plugging it into a single circuit, and it basically backflows up through your panel to say power an air conditioner that's cycling on and off to monitor, or like your refrigerator, or maybe you're charging your laptop from the day before. So I'm just trying to like the cost to those, you know, kilowatt that you're offsetting. for the
So
day.
I believe you're it's about $800 to $1,000 per panel. So if you do 3 of those, it goes up to $3,000. So with that, you're defraying, I don't know, a fifth of your energy costs maybe. I think, you know, it's gonna take a few years for that to pay off fully, but you're gonna have resiliency. You know, you're gonna have other benefits as well along the way. It's not just that energy needed serving, it's backup power for you.
Okay, thank you.
Would it be, I mean, I guess when you talk about how much a panel produces, you're sort of comparing it to numbers you would typically get if it was installed on the roof of a single family residence, but it would be a little bit different.
It would be different, yeah. There are gonna be shading issues, there are gonna be orientation issues. In Hawaii, we're at a low latitude, so we have the benefit of having direct sunlight coming directly down. And so the angle, the lower the angle, you know, to 12 degrees is you can get, the better the efficiency. So you can't always get that optimal angle, you know, in an install.
Or if you live on
So there's gonna
the
be,
you know, north side of the apartment building.
and sometimes these portable panels can be moved, and so someone during the day could place them in a perfect position during the day and then move them, later in the day. So it just depends. There's a lot of options here.
There might be some consumer concerns about making sure people understand the variability of how it might provide electricity to them based on the orientation of their particular unit.
Agreed. This needs to be appropriately caveated for sure in selling, and we're all for consumer protections. We're promoting a bill in that regard, so we think proper education is really important at the outset. Yeah.
One more question, sorry, just take a seat up there. You made me think, like, I've installed in agricultural systems, just low wattage solar trickle chargers. And the thing about them is that as soon as they look at the sun, there's power coming out of the leads and you can zap yourself. Do these kind of systems come with, for lack of proper technical terms, where the plug is not live as soon as they see the sun, that they have to be plugged in and sense 110 volt?
I don't know the exact answer, but I am sure UL certification covers things exactly like that.
Okay.
That's really what it's for. The UL certification is a really powerful tool for safety. It's like an appliance that you can use.
Okay, yeah, because 1200 watts will wake you up.
Yeah.
Right, any other questions, members? All right, thank you. I guess that was a good conversation. We will move on to House Bill 1623 relating to the environment, and this is making some changes to the Climate Commission structure and some of the enabling language about decarbonization. So first up to testify, we have the Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation Commission.
Mahalo, we'll stand on our testimony and support and available for questions.
Thank you. And then Hawaii Tourism Authority. Comments. Hawaii State Energy Office.
Chair, Vice Chair, will stand on our written testimony.
Thank you. Democratic Party of Hawaii in support. Life of the Land.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. We assumed that there was simply a comma placed in the wrong section. If the comma is there, then it allows the commission to go from a policy position to actually setting standards. And that opens up a whole can of worms. We assumed that there was just a typographical error. Mahalo.
Thank you. And one additional individual with testimony and support. Was there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? I have a question for Climate Commission. To this question of the missing comma, I think if the comma was intended to not be there, actually, it's probably not, doesn't make sense anyway. So I assume the intention was to empower the commission to set standards. And I'm not sure what standards you mean or what the process would be or what that would apply to.
Yeah, excuse me, I think that there's just been some confusion as to, you know, the commission doesn't have any regulatory capacity or ability to implement anything that's legally required. But, you know, in order to make recommendations to set standards, there's been some concern or some confusion as whether the commission itself can come forward and say, hey, this is what we recommend X, Y, Z. So this just kind of clarifies that the commission is empowered to make those recommendations that then could be taken on either by the legislature or other entities as clearer guidance.
Is that the ability to make recommendations generally or to make recommendations for setting standards?
It's generally, and I think it's make recommendations and set standards.
Did you have something specific in mind when you made that change to?
I think specifically we're thinking of guidance for sea level rise recommendations. We're also looking at potentially recommendations for clean fuel standards, you know, other, you know, various things that haven't actually had policy guidelines just yet. We can, you know, based off of the current science, make recommendations.
And so the language in your statute already includes make recommendations broadly. So does it really make a difference?
It adds like that, just like little bit of clarification, but you know, it is okay to be very clear, rather than have kind of general recommendations, but I think we can live without it if it's causing.
Okay, all right, thank you. Are there any other questions, members? All right, if not, we will move on to the last bill on the agenda, House Bill 1774 relating to centralized access to resources. So this has the Climate Commission being in charge of a kind of catch-all resource website on a lot of topics. First up, we have Climate Commission.
Government testimony and support.
Thank you. And then we have Democratic Party of Hawaii in support and one individual in opposition. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members' questions. All right, if not, brief recess and we'll be back shortly for decision making. All right, we are back for decision making on the 9 a.m. agenda. First up, we have House Bill 2245 relating to the environment. Let's see, for this, we will clarify the definition of shoreline so that it matches up to shoreline as defined in 205A-1 as determined by DLNR. We will clarify, I think, the most recent soil surveys in GIS. I think there's still work to be done on figuring that part out, however. We will adopt DOH's other suggested amendments and affect the date to the year 3000. With that, any discussion, members? Seeing none, please take the vote.
House Bill 2245, Chair's recommendation is passed with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Representative Chen.
Aye.
Representative Kahaloa.
Aye.
Representative Kush.
Aye.
Representative Quinlan.
Aye.
Representative Matsumoto.
Aye.
Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. And then for House Bill 1618, relating to cesspool conversions, this is the HDIA financing. We will adopt White Green Infrastructure Authority's suggested amendments in testimony. And then we will add language, and I don't have the specific language yet, but we're gonna add language that enables Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority to make some of these loans forgivable to eligible households. And we will also note in the committee report that we would like to look at green fee funds potentially as a sustainable source of funding. That some amount could go to this on an annual basis to continue capitalizing this loan program. If that is considered, then I think $1 million might be an appropriate recommendation. If it's a one-time appropriation to HGIA, we might need to be looking at higher numbers. So we'll have some language in the committee report reflecting that. We will also have technical amendments for clarity, consistency, and style, and we will defect the date to the year 3000. Let's see, am I missing anything? I think and we might actually additionally, sorry, there's a lot of amendments, add language to create a revolving loan fund into which any money to finance this program would be held. And with that, and we'll defect the date to the year 3000. With that, members, any discussion? If not, Vice Chair.
House Bill 1618, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. And then House Bill 1985 relating to cesspools. And also the public outreach and education. Again, we have a number of amendments here. So first off, we're going to add some language just clarifying that ability for Department of Health to grant an extension would also depend upon the applicant's demonstration of having made efforts to finance their conversion. And we will adopt Department of Health suggested amendment to change the means of financing for the outreach and education and website piece from the special fund to general funds, and adopt their other recommendations. I think it's changing the word homeowners to property owners and some other small amendments to section 3. We are going to add a goal to this section of statute to prioritize a goal for DOH to prioritize conversion of cesspools that pose the highest risk to human health or the environment. And we will defect the date to the year 3000. With that, members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
House Bill 1985, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. And then moving on to House Bill 2079 relating to cesspools. This is the tax credit bill. So for this, we're going to make a bunch of changes as well. We're going to have the tax credit be equal to qualified expenses up to a maximum of 10,000. So there won't be different amounts for different types of conversions. It will be the same amount for every homeowner. We will change the language to have this qualify for director-approved systems as opposed to being specific about septic and ATUs. That was a change that we made. some time ago. I think that just got in here because this was referring back to the 2015 legislation. We'll delete any unnecessary definitions in the later part of the bill that I think were also partly a carryover. And we will make the tax credit refundable for people below a certain income threshold amount. We're gonna leave that blank for now for further discussion. And we will have some technical amendments for clarity, consistency, and style, and defect the date to the year 3000. So with that, members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
House Bill 2079, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. And for House Bill 1921, this is the additional bedroom for cesspools in priority 3. We will adopt Department of Health suggested amendments and defect the date to the year 3000. With that, members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
House Bill 1921, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation has been adopted.
House Bill 2232 relating to clean water. So based on Department of Health's testimony that these federal standards are already upheld in state law, we're going to defer this bill. House Bill 1567 relating to energy equity. We're going to adopt all of PUC's suggested amendments, defect the date to the year 3000. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
House Bill 1567, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. House Bill 1984 relating to solar renewable energy. This is the self-certification process for solar. So we will fill a date in the blank here of July 1st, 2027. And then we will take KIUC's suggested amendment, which basically exempts KIUC, and we will defect the date to the year 3000. With that, members, any questions? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
House Bill 1984, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation has been adopted.
Thanks. And then House Bill 2608 relating to water heating systems. We're going to remove the tax credit language from the bill because we have another tax credit bill coming up. So we'll use that as a vehicle to consider if we want to add tax credits for this. I just don't want mixed messages from the committee about what we want to do with the tax credit. And we will unstrike through the language regarding gas water heaters. So we'll keep that in as an option, and we will defect the date to the year 3000. With that, members, any discussion?
House Bill 2608, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Reservations from Representative Tomorrow. Chair, recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. And then House Bill 2435 relating to portable plug-in solar generation devices. Excited to be talking about this. We have a couple other bills that also look at how we want to approach this, and so we're going to consider some of the language in the other bills as well. So for now, we're going to defer decision making on this to Tuesday, February 10th at the end of the 11:15 decision making agenda that we already have. And then House Bill 1623 relating to the environment. I think we'll just remove that set standards language to just remove any confusion. We will make some technical amendments for clarity, consistency, and style. We will consolidate the reporting requirements, and we will defect the date to the year 3000 and move this forward. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
House Bill 1623, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation has been adopted.
And then finally, we have House Bill 1774, and for this, we're just going to defect the date to the year 3000, move this forward for further discussion. And that's it. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
House Bill 1774, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair, recommendation has been adopted.
All right, and with that, we are adjourned.